Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi again. So this is another video for WKU 1032. I have to change the angle of the camera. So it used to be over here. Now it's here because there's a problem with the USB port. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We are going to be discussing on a new chapter, which is on speaking. Like in our last chapter, we have discussed on communication as a whole, the different models of communication, the elements of communication, and so on and so forth. For today, we are going to continue with speaking. So when it comes to speaking, as students students of higher learning, speaking is of course something that is guaranteed for everyone. You cannot really avoid it. You have to speak in order to do presentation, in order to talk to your lecturers, in order to have group discussion. So as a student, it is unavoidable. Okay, so later on, when you graduate and you start working, you have to communicate as well. You have to communicate with your boss, with your subordinates, with your clients. So in a way, speaking is something that you cannot avoid. So when it comes to presentation, when you present something, of course you have to do research, and then you have to organize your content, you have to outline, and then you have to practice. Delivery is also important. It is the most immediate to the audience. Now, it is vital to remember that we do not only speak through our voice but also through our action. So kita punya voice ni, suara ni, this is not enough. When we communicate with our audience, we also communicate with this, our eye contact, also our posture, also our facial expression. So all of this affects our presentation. It affects our speaking. Now, okay, so it's important to know all the different methods and consideration when it comes to delivering a speech. Now, let's go to the first part for speaking, which is verbal and non-verbal communication. I think that most of you are aware. So when it comes to verbal communication, so we are talking about spoken communication. Kita bercakap ni, this is verbal communication. So good verbal communication refers to information that is not presented only orally but also organized efficiently and logically. So kalau you nak your presentation to be good, you have to make sure yang dia bukan cakap abuk cakap abuk ke ayat dia. Dia tak boleh goreng je lah. Tak boleh goreng je. You must organize your presentation and you must organize efficiently and logically. You cannot just simply goreng je. I have noticed in the past some of people that I have worked with, they goreng sampai hangus. So avoid that. Okay, so the next part is non-verbal communication. So when it comes to non-verbal communication, of course we are talking about visual, what is being seen here. So we are talking about what is it that you are wearing, how are you standing, your posture. Some people they stand like this when doing their presentation. That is not a good thing to do, and also eye contact. So all these elements, all these whatever it is that is being seen, that affects the communication process. If someone looks like they are not really interested in presenting, audience pun will think, Muhammad ni pun tak nak present, tak nak je, buat apa aku nak dengar, right? So keep that in mind. And then language choice, the use of appropriate style, language and vocabulary is also important. We are talking about pronunciation and enunciation. So enunciation here means the way it is enunciate tau. Is it clear or not? Benda yang keluar pada mulut ni clear or not? And then you can also use personal pronouns. Personal pronouns such as I, you, and we. When it comes to personal pronouns, make sure that you when it comes to personal pronouns, we use personal pronouns because kita nak rasa benda tu macam personal tau. Like we are actually connecting with the audience. That's why we have to use personal pronouns. I, you, and then we. Okay. And then finally, vocal. Vocally, we have discussed previously as well when it comes in communication chapter. So the speaker should speak loudly to be audible to the audience, but not too loud. Some people they scream when they present. That's not necessary, but just make sure it is audible. This word right here, audible, boleh didengar. Okay. So speak sincerely and enthusiastically. When people are not sincere, we can hear them, right? Like for example, when you say sorry dengan sorry so sorry so kita tahu it's not really sincere, right? We are actually very good at identifying when someone is sincere or not. And also it is important to avoid disruption to the flow of your speech. Speech disfluencies. Speech disfluencies, like for example, you know, okay, and lah. I mean, it's important to avoid it. Don't use it too much, but you have to remember that ni semua it's actually normal. It is part of our communication ability. It actually refers to our communicative ability. It is part of our natural lah. It's quite natural for us to use okay, and lah ni semua ni. Try and avoid using it too much, but remember that these are fillers. It's also known as fillers, and they are very common and something that is natural, unavoidable lah, I may say, unless you have trained very hard. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now, for the discussion today, we will be talking about the managing of small group. How do you manage a small group during a discussion? Let's talk about why is it important to learn this skill, managing small groups discussion. So why is it important? Well, it's important because it is useful for everyday life, because we always have discussion among friends, family and college. So discussion ni, group discussion ni, it does not always have to be formal tau. Dia bukan selalu pasal benda penting macam contoh program tu, program ni, mesyuarat tu, mesyuarat ni. No, discussion ni can be something that is very informal. Something about for example, discussion about recent news story. Macam contoh, Kelantan banjir. Do you know that Kelantan flooded yesterday or something, right? So it's only a discussion. It doesn't have to be about something serious, group discussion ni. So additionally, group discussion are increasingly being used in the job market. Yes, sometimes during interview, they will put you together in one group and then they ask you to discuss about something important. They will give you a topic and then they ask you to discuss, to see your ability to think critically, to see your problem solving skill. So it's important to know how to manage groups in a discussion. And then last but not least, group discussion also offers an opportunity for extended speaking and listening. So it's more of a practice for you. If you have taken MUET, you know already that group discussion is also tested in MUET. So the things that we learn in this chapter will be useful for you in MUET as well. Okay, so we have different types of discussion. Okay, the first type of discussion is when you have to make decision. Alright, for example, you want to decide who to invite to a party. Let's say Irfan ada birthday party, and then I have to decide with my kalau birthday party saya, buat apa saya yang decide? Okay, never mind. Let's say your friend is having a birthday party, and you have to decide, nak jemput siapa. So you have to make decision. So this is the kind of discussion that you will have to make. So you make decision, or maybe you want to share your opinion on a given topic. Let's say you want to talk about football. Oh, Liverpool was so good this season. Oh, Chelsea did not defend well this season. So you want to share your opinion in the discussion, right? Or maybe you are discussing because you want to create something new. You have a program that you want to launch. Let's say for example, Minggu Mesra Siswa, or maybe Minggu Bahasa, right? So when you have to discuss, right, you cannot just simply kita buat ni terus buat je. You have to discuss first. And then problem solving. So this is something that is useful for students, and also later when you start working, you discuss because there is a problem and you want to solve the problem. Okay, so these are the useful sub skills. Useful sub skills ni maknanya skill-skill yang berguna nanti, yang you boleh guna masa group discussion, analysis, persuasion, emotion, control emotion, and then awareness, and then finally functional language, right? So these things are what we will discuss in our discussion today. Okay, the sub skills. Alright, that will be all for this video. Thank you very much for watching.